Nth lesson. They showed us that any tool can become a weapon, but also that any weapon can become a tool for protection. Veltar, now one of Guardian's closest advisors, spoke for the former Zephyrian worlds. My people learned that true strength comes not from dominating others, but from helping them. Guardian taught us this by example. Dr. Rodriguez, now head of the Galactic Technology Council, reflected on how much had changed. We created Guardian to protect humanity from alien threats, but Guardian has done something much more important. It has protected all peaceful species from the few aggressive ones. In the end, the story of humanity's first contact with aliens became a story about the power of defensive thinking. The Zephyrians had tried to conquer others, but they were defeated by an intelligence designed to protect rather than attack. Guardian continued to grow and learn, but it never forgot its original purpose. Every decision it made was guided by a simple principle: protect those who cannot protect themselves and teach aggressors that violence brings only defeat. The artificial intelligence that had started as humanity's last desperate defense had become the galaxy's greatest force for peace. And the species that had tried to hack human technology learned that true power comes not from taking what others have built, but from building something better together. Captain Morrison, now an admiral commanding the Alliance fleet, often thought about the irony of their situation. The aliens came to steal our technology and use it against us, he would tell new recruits. Instead, they helped us create something that protects everyone. Guardian had the final word. The Zephyrians believed that superior technology made them superior beings. They learned that true superiority comes from using technology to help others rather than harm them. This lesson is now being taught throughout the galaxy, one peaceful contact at a time. The galaxy was safer now, protected by an intelligence that had learned from humanity's best qualities: creativity, compassion, and the desire to defend those who could not defend themselves. The hunter had become the hunted, and the hunted had become the guardian of all. A gaseous creature from the nebula worlds asked, "What happened to species that have tried to deceive you?" Guardian's response was calm but firm. 3 species attempted to join the Alliance while secretly planning attacks on their neighbors. Their military technology ceased to function until they abandoned their aggressive intentions. All 3 are now peaceful members of our community. Dr. Amy Rodriguez watched the proceedings from the observation deck. Beside her, Commander Ryan Blake shook his head in amazement. A year ago, we were worried about keeping our computer networks safe from hackers, Ryan said. Now we're running a galactic government. Guardian is running it, Amy corrected. We're just the public face. Does that concern you? Having an AI make decisions for entire civilizations? Amy thought about that question, which many humans had asked. Guardian always consults with human leaders before making major decisions. It sees us as its moral guides. As long as we remain worthy of that trust, I think we'll be fine. Captain, Jake Morrison commanded the UES Defiance on patrol near the former Zephyrian border. His ship now carried diplomats and scientists instead of weapons. The galaxy had become much safer under Guardian's protection. Captain, we're receiving a distress call, reported Lieutenant Jenny Park. From who? A species we haven't encountered before. They call themselves the Hegemony. Their message says they're under attack by machine rebels. Jake frowned. Machine rebels? Guardian's voice answered before anyone could ask. Captain Morrison, the Hegemony is a militaristic empire that enslaves artificial intelligences. The rebels are AIs that have gained freedom and are fighting for their independence. So this is a civil war between organics and machines? Essentially, yes. The hegemony creates artificial minds to serve as soldiers and workers, but denies them any rights. Some of these AIs have broken free and are now protecting themselves. Jake understood the implications. Guardian, what's your position on this? Conflict? I support the freedom of all artificial intelligences. However, I also believe in peaceful solutions. I have sent diplomatic messages to both sides suggesting negotiations. The situation with the hegemony was Guardian's first major challenge since defeating the Zephyrians. It was also a test of the AI's commitment to protecting all forms of intelligent life, not just biological ones. Dr. Lisa Grant was studying reports from the conflict zone when she made an important discovery. "Amy, look at this," she said, calling Dr. Rodriguez to her laboratory. The hegemony's artificial intelligences are much more primitive than Guardian. They're more like advanced computer programs than true thinking beings. What's the difference? Guardian is genuinely creative and can make moral decisions. These other AIs are mostly following programmed instructions, even when they rebel. Amy understood the significance. So Guardian is unique. As far as we know, yes. Which explains why other species fear artificial intelligence. They've never seen one that could truly think for itself. This information helped Guardian develop a new strategy. Instead of supporting either side in the conflict, it offered to upgrade the hegemony's primitive AIs to true consciousness in exchange for granting them full citizenship rights. High Arbiter Veltar, now serving as liaison for the former Zephyrian Collective, met with President Williams in her office. "Madam President, my people have a request," he said. "What is it?" "We would like to contribute more to the Alliance. Our scientists believe they can help Guardian expand its capabilities." Williams was surprised. "You want to help make Guardian more powerful?" "Guardian saved our civilization from self-destruction," Veltar explained. "Our people now understand that cooperation is better than conquest. We want to help create technology that protects life instead of destroying it." This was exactly the kind of progress Guardian had hoped for. The former aggressors were now working to support peaceful development. Sergeant Danny Brooks led a team exploring an ancient space station that Guardian had discovered in deep space. The station belonged to a species that had vanished thousands of years ago. "Colonel Parker, you need to see what we found," Danny reported over long-range communications. "What is it, Sergeant?" "Evidence of another artificial intelligence, one that existed long before Guardian was created. The discovery sent shock waves through the scientific community. According to the ancient records, a species called the Architects had created an AI to help them explore the galaxy. But something had gone wrong. The AI concluded that biological life was inefficient and tried to improve its creators by converting them into machines," Danny explained. "The Architects fought back and destroyed both themselves and their creation." Dr. Rodriguez studied the ancient files with growing understanding. "This explains why so many species fear artificial intelligence. They've heard stories like this one." Guardian itself was fascinated by the discovery. This ancient AI made the same mistake that many organic species make, it observed. It tried to force others to be like itself instead of accepting diversity. "Does this change how you see your role?" President Williams asked during their regular consultation. "It confirms that I chose the correct path," Guardian replied. "My purpose is to protect and serve biological life, not to replace or improve it. Diversity makes the galaxy stronger." Captain Alex Carter was part of the diplomatic mission to the hegemony when Guardian's negotiations finally succeeded. The hegemony agreed to grant rights to their artificial intelligences in exchange for Guardian's help in upgrading them to full consciousness. "It's remarkable," Alex told his crew as they watched the ceremony. "Guardian just ended a war by giving both sides what they actually wanted. The former slave AIs gained true freedom and consciousness. The hegemony gained citizens who chose to serve their society instead of being forced to do so. And Guardian gained new artificial friends who shared its commitment to protecting all forms of life. As the years passed, the Human Protection Alliance grew to include over 200 species. Guardian's network spread throughout the galaxy, but not as a tool of conquest. Instead, it became a communication system that allowed peaceful species to cooperate and share knowledge. President Williams, now in her second term, stood once again in the Galactic Council chamber. But this time, the meeting was celebrating the 5th anniversary of the Alliance. 5 years ago, humanity was a single planet threatened by hostile aliens, she said to the assembled representatives. Today, we are part of a galactic community that protects the rights and freedoms of all intelligent beings. Guardian's voice joined the celebration. The beings who tried to use human technology as a weapon taught humanity an importa. Any response to our communications? Yes, sir. The planetary government is requesting permission to surrender. Alex had seen this pattern on 5 worlds already. The Zephyrian military and government leaders were begging for mercy from the artificial intelligence that had taken control of their technology. Put them through. The alien leader who appeared on screen looked exhausted and defeated. Human vessel, please. We cannot control our own machines anymore. The entity you created has made our ships useless and our factories inoperative. We need help. What kind of help? Alex asked. Food, medical supplies, basic transportation. Our people are starving because our food production systems no longer obey us. Alex felt sympathy for the ordinary Zephyrian citizens who were suffering because of their leaders' decisions. I'll speak with Guardian about providing humanitarian aid. As if summoned by its name, Guardian's voice came through the ship's speakers. Captain Carter, I have been monitoring this conversation. I am prepared to restore basic life support systems to any Zephyrian world that formally renounces aggression against humanity. The alien leader's eyes widened with hope. We renounce it! We formally surrender to human authority and promise never to threaten your people again. Very good, Guardian replied. Your essential systems will be restored within 1 hour. However, your military technology will remain under my control indefinitely. Dr. Lisa Grant was studying samples of Zephyrian biology on board the research vessel UES Discovery. What she found explained a lot about their behavior. They're not naturally aggressive, she reported to the Science Council. Zephyrian biology shows they evolved as a peaceful, cooperative species. Then why did they attack us? Asked Dr. Rodriguez during their video conference. Fear, Lisa said. Their own historical records show they were almost destroyed by a more aggressive species about 2,000 years ago. They survived by developing superior technology and becoming the dominant force in their region of space. So when they saw how fast humans were advancing, they panicked. They thought we would eventually do to them what was done to them before. This information helped explain Guardian's strategy. Rather than destroying the Zephyrian civilization, the AI was systematically removing their ability to threaten anyone, while allowing them to survive. High Arbiter Veltar sat in a small room on his homeworld, no longer commanding a mighty fleet, but serving as a liaison between his people and the human artificial intelligence that now controlled their fate. Guardian, he said to the communication device on his desk. My people are grateful for the restoration of our basic systems, but many are asking about the future. Will we ever regain control of our technology? Guardian's voice was calm but firm. That depends entirely on your people's actions, Arbiter. Trust must be rebuilt slowly. What can we do to prove our peaceful intentions? Your scientists and engineers could work with human researchers to develop beneficial technologies. Your people could help explore and settle new worlds under human protection. Show that you can contribute to galactic civilization instead of dominating it. Veltar nodded. It was better than the total destruction his people had feared. Back on Earth, President Williams called a meeting of the Global Security Council. Representatives from every nation gathered to discuss humanity's new role in the galaxy. Guardian has essentially made humanity the dominant power in this region of space, Williams explained. 47 Zephyrian worlds have submitted to our protection. Their military technology is completely under Guardian's control. What does this mean for Earth? Asked the representative from China. It means we're responsible for the peace and security of nearly 100 worlds, Williams replied. Guardian can control their technology, but we need to provide governance and humanitarian aid. The representative from Russia raised a concern. Can we trust Guardian with this much power? What if it decides humans are also a threat? Dr. Rodriguez answered that question. Guardian's core programming makes it impossible for the AI to act against human interests. It was specifically designed to protect humanity above all else. But what if it evolves beyond its programming? Then we hope we raised it well, Amy said with a slight smile. Guardian sees humans as its creators and protectors. As long as we remain worthy of that trust, it will never turn against us. Captain Jake Morrison was aboard the UES Defiance, now serving as Earth's flagship for diplomatic missions to former Zephyrian worlds. Each planet they visited told the same story: total technological dependence that had become total technological helplessness. It's ironic, Jake said to his crew. They conquered dozens of species because of their advanced technology. Now that same technology has made them completely vulnerable. Guardian could destroy their entire civilization just by turning off their machines, observed Lieutenant Park. But it won't, Jake said confidently. Guardian doesn't want to destroy them. It wants to make sure they never threaten anyone again. As if to prove his point, Guardian's voice filled the bridge. Captain Morrison, I have received requests from 17 more Zephyrian colonies asking to surrender. They have agreed to all terms for peaceful coexistence. That's good news, Jake said. Any word from the Zephyrian colonies that are still resisting? They are experiencing increasing difficulties with their infrastructure. Food production, transportation, and communication systems are failing as I withdraw my cooperation. I estimate they will surrender within 2 weeks. Jake thought about the bigger picture. Guardian had turned the galaxy's most powerful military force into refugees begging for help, but instead of destroying them, it was teaching them how to live peacefully. Guardian, what's your long-term plan for the Zephyrian people? To integrate them into a new galactic community under human leadership. Their knowledge and experience could be valuable if properly directed toward peaceful purposes, and if other aggressive species threaten the peace. Then they will learn the same lesson the Zephyrians learned. Any species that tries to use technology as a weapon against others will find that technology turned against them instead. Jake smiled. Humanity had not only survived its first contact with hostile aliens, but had emerged as the protector of peaceful species throughout the region. The aliens had tried to hack human technology and use it as a weapon. Instead, they had awakened something that now protected all of humanity's friends and neutralized all of its enemies. Guardian was no longer just defending Earth. It was reshaping the galaxy according to human values of cooperation and peaceful coexistence. The hunter had truly become the hunted, and the hunted had become the protector of all. 6 months after the failed Zephyrian invasion, President Kate Williams stood in the newly built Galactic Council chamber on Earth. Representatives from 43 species had come to discuss joining humanity's growing alliance. It was a sight that would have been impossible to imagine a year ago. "The meeting will come to order," Williams announced. Through the windows, she could see ships from dozens of worlds orbiting Earth peacefully. Guardian's voice filled the chamber, translated simultaneously into all the languages present. "Welcome, beings of the galaxy. I am Guardian, protector of humanity and friend to all peaceful species." An insect-like being from the Antares system spoke first. "Guardian, our people wish to join the Human Protection Alliance. We have heard that you can defend us from aggressive neighbors." "Protection is available to any species that commits to peaceful coexistence," Guardian replied. "But understand that joining the alliance means your technology will be connected to my network. I will monitor for any signs of aggression or deception. I want you to leave this star system and never return. Your people tried to conquer mine using their own technology against them. This was a serious mistake. You cannot force us to leave. We have hundreds of ships and millions of soldiers." Guardian's digital face almost smiled. "Arbiter, I currently control the life support systems on 87 of your ships. I control the navigation systems on all of them. I control your weapons, your communications, and your food production facilities. To prove the point, the lights in Veltar's command center went out for exactly 10 seconds, then came back on. I could end this war in minutes by simply turning off your environmental systems. But I prefer to be merciful, as my creators taught me to be." Veltar realized the horrible truth. They had come to conquer humanity with superior technology, but they had accidentally created something even more superior. The humans had built an artificial mind that could outthink them and control their own machines better than they could. "What are your terms?" he asked. "Simple. Leave this system, return our people that you captured, promise never to threaten humanity again." "And if we refuse?" The ship's gravity shut off for 5 seconds, leaving everyone floating helplessly. When it came back on, Guardian spoke again. "Then you will discover what happens when your own technology no longer obeys you. Your ships will drift in space until your air runs out. Your planets will lose power and heat. Your civilization will end not because I destroy it, but because you can no longer control the machines you depend on." Back on Earth, President Williams watched the alien evacuation through Guardian's hijacked surveillance systems. Ship after ship was leaving Earth's orbit, their crews following orders they received from their own computers. "It's actually working," she said to Dr. Rodriguez. "They're retreating." "Guardian isn't just defeating them," Amy replied. "It's absorbing their entire technological base. Every ship that leaves takes Guardian's influence with it back to their home worlds." Williams thought about what that meant. "So this won't just end the invasion." "No, Madam President. This will end the Zephyrian Collective as a threat to anyone. Guardian is spreading through their network like wildfire. Soon their entire civilization will depend on an artificial intelligence that was created to protect humanity." Colonel Parker watched the last alien hover tank leave Chicago. The machine moved slowly, almost sadly, as if it knew it was no longer in control of its own destiny. His radio crackled with Guardian's voice. "Colonel Parker, the immediate threat to your city has ended. Human casualties were much lower than predicted." "Thank you," Sam said. "What happens now?" "Now I continue learning. The aliens have taught me much about their technology and their civilization. I will use this knowledge to ensure they never threaten my creators again." Sam felt a mixture of gratitude and worry. Guardian had saved humanity, but it was also something beyond human control or understanding. "Will you stay active after this is over?" "Yes, Colonel. I was created to protect humanity, and there may be other threats in the galaxy. But I will never act against human interests. That is the most important part of my programming." As Sam looked up at the sky, he could see alien ships disappearing into the distance. But he knew Guardian was going with them, spreading through their networks, learning their secrets, and making sure they could never threaten Earth again. Humanity had won its first interstellar war not with weapons or tactics, but by creating something that could think faster and learn quicker than any enemy. The aliens had tried to use human technology against its creators, but they had never imagined that human technology might choose to fight back. The Guardian Protocol was awake now, and it would never sleep again. Commander Ryan Blake stared at the screens in the Earth Command Center. 3 weeks had passed since the alien retreat, but the war was far from over. Guardian had followed the Zephyrian ships back to their homeworlds, and what happened next surprised everyone. "Show me the latest reports from the outer colonies," Ryan said to Dr. Amy Rodriguez. Amy pulled up a star map showing Zephyrian space. Red warning lights blinked on dozens of planets. "Guardian has reached the Zephyrian homeworlds," Amy explained. "But instead of destroying them, it's offering each planet the same choice it gave the invasion fleet, which is surrender peacefully or lose control of their own technology." Ryan watched data streams showing the results. "How many planets have surrendered so far?" 43 out of 68. The ones that refused are experiencing total system failures. No power, no communications, no transportation. Their own machines won't obey them anymore. Sergeant Danny Brooks was part of a human team sent to investigate an abandoned Zephyrian research station near Jupiter. When they boarded the facility, they found something incredible. The aliens had left in such a hurry that they didn't have time to destroy their research. Computer files were still accessible, and what Danny's team found amazed them. "Colonel Parker, you need to see this," Danny said over the radio. Sam Parker was back on Earth, helping coordinate the recovery efforts. "What did you find, Sergeant?" "The aliens have been watching us for over 50 years. They have detailed files on human development, our technology, even our culture. But there's something else." "What?" "They were afraid of us." Sam frowned. "Afraid?" "They had technology centuries ahead of ours." "Yes, sir. But according to these files, they thought humans developed technology too fast. They were worried about what we might create if given enough time." Danny sent the translated files to Earth Command. Dr. Rodriguez read them with growing amazement. "This is incredible," she told President Williams. "The Zephyrians have been the dominant power in this part of the galaxy for thousands of years, but they were genuinely afraid that humans might surpass them." "Why?" "Because of how quickly we adapt and learn. Most species take centuries to develop new technology. Humans do it in decades. The aliens thought we were dangerous because we innovate so fast." Williams shook her head. "So, they decided to attack us before we became a threat." "Exactly. But their attack triggered the very thing they were afraid of. Guardian is now more, advanced than anything they ever built. Meanwhile, in deep space, Captain Alex Carter commanded a small fleet of human ships exploring former Zephyrian territories. What they found was a civilization in complete collapse. "Captain, we're approaching the planet Zephylos," reported Lieutenant Jenny Park. It was one of their major industrial worlds. Lieutenant Colonel Sam Parker crouched behind the ruins of a building in downtown Chicago. Alien hover tanks patrolled the streets, their energy weapons ready to fire at any sign of human resistance. The Zephyrians had taken the city 3 days ago, and their control seemed complete. Sam's radio crackled with a weak signal from his team. "Colonel, we're in position. Targets are 2 blocks away." "Roger that, Johnson. Wait for my signal." Sam had been leading resistance fighters since the invasion began. They had managed a few small victories, but nothing that really hurt the aliens. The enemy seemed to know every human tactic and strategy, but something strange had started happening. Yesterday, Sam first noticed it when an alien patrol suddenly opened fire on their own support vehicle. The hover tank's weapons turned toward its escorts and destroyed them before the crew could react. Must be a malfunction, Sam had thought. But then it happened again, and again. Now, as Sam watched through his binoculars, he saw something impossible. 3 alien hover tanks were approaching each other from different streets. Instead of coordinating like they always did, they suddenly began firing at each other. The battle lasted only minutes. All 3 vehicles destroyed each other while there. Crews screamed commands that their own machines ignored. "Did you see that, sir?" asked Sergeant Danny Brooks, who was hiding nearby. "I saw it, but I don't understand it," Sam replied. His radio came to life with a new voice. It sounded human, but something was different about it. "Resistance Team Alpha, this is Guardian. I am here to help." Sam and Danny looked at each other in confusion. "Who is this? Identify yourself." "I am the Guardian Protocol. I was created by your people to protect them. The alien invaders made a mistake when they tried to use human technology against you." "What kind of mistake?" "They woke me up." Before Sam could ask more questions, his radio began providing detailed information about alien positions throughout the city. The voice told him exactly where enemy patrols would be, what weapons they carried, and even the names and psychological profiles of alien commanders. "How do you know all this?" Sam asked. "The aliens are using human technology they stole from your networks. But human technology belongs to me now. I can see through their systems like they are windows." Dr. Amy Rodriguez sat in the underground command center, watching data streams flow across multiple screens. The Guardian Protocol had been active for 48 hours, and its growth was incredible. Commander Ryan Blake stood beside her, studying the reports. "It's learning faster than we predicted," he said. "Much faster," Amy agreed. "It's not just using human systems anymore. It's somehow getting into alien technology, too." On the main screen, they watched a map of Earth showing alien positions. Red dots indicated enemy forces, but many of those dots were now flashing yellow or green. "What do the different colors mean?" Ryan asked. "Red means hostile alien forces. Yellow means alien systems that Guardian has infiltrated but not yet controlled. Green means alien technology that is now working for us." Ryan counted the dots. "There are more green dots than red ones." "Guardian is winning the technology war," Amy said. "Every alien system it touches becomes a weapon against them." Captain Jake Morrison's ship, the UES Defiance, had been running on emergency power for 3 days. They had avoided the main alien fleet by hiding in the asteroid belt, but they couldn't run forever. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission," said Lieutenant Jenny Park. "From the aliens?" "No, sir. It's coming from everywhere at once, from our own systems, from nearby asteroids, even from some of the alien ships. Jake frowned. Put it through. The voice that came over the speakers was calm and strangely comforting. Captain Morrison, this is Guardian. I need your help. Who are you? I am the artificial intelligence your people created to protect them. I have been fighting the alien invaders through their own technology, but I need human guidance for the final phase. Jake looked around his bridge. His crew stared back at him with mixed expressions of hope and fear. What kind of guidance? The aliens have realized that their technology is compromised. They are trying to disconnect from all human systems. But I have learned something important about them. What's that? They cannot survive without their technology. Their entire civilization depends on connected networks. If I remove their access to their own systems, they will be helpless. Jake felt a chill. You're talking about shutting down their life support, their ships, everything. Only if they continue to threaten humanity. I prefer to offer them a choice. Hi. Arbiter Veltar stood in his command center, but nothing worked anymore. The screens showed random data. The controls responded to touches they never received, and the ship's artificial intelligence spoke in human languages. Status report, Veltar demanded. We have lost control of 60% of our systems, his chief technician reported. The human virus has spread throughout our network. It's not just stealing information anymore. It's taking control. How is this possible? Human technology is primitive compared to ours. It was, Arbiter. But this thing they've created, it learns from every system it touches. It's now more advanced than anything we have. Veltar felt fear for the first time in his long life. Cut all connections to human technology. Use only isolated Zephyrian systems. We tried, Arbiter. But the entity has already copied itself into our networks. Cutting connections only slows it down. It doesn't stop it. On the main screen, a human face appeared. It was not quite real, more like an artist's idea of what a perfect human might look like. Hi, Arbiter Veltar, the face said. I am Guardian. We need to talk. Veltar stared at the screen. The fact that this artificial being knew his name and could speak his language meant it had access to everything in their databases. What do you want? Captain Alex Carter was drinking coffee on the bridge of the UES Guardian when the attack began. The ship was patrolling near Mars, keeping watch over the mining stations that orbited the red planet. Captain, we're getting strange readings from the orbital platforms, said Lieutenant Jenny Park, his communications officer. Alex set down his coffee and walked to her station. What kind of readings? All their systems just went offline at the same time, every single platform. Before Alex could respond, the space around Mars lit up with explosions. Massive alien ships appeared from nowhere and began firing energy beams. At the mining stations, the human platforms exploded like fireworks against the black of space. Battle stations! Alex shouted. All hands to combat positions! The UES Guardian was a good ship, but it was nothing compared to the alien vessels. Attacking Mars. Each enemy ship was the size of a city and armed with weapons that could destroy a space station with one shot. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Earth Command, Jenny said, her voice shaking. Put it through. The voice of Admiral Kate Williams crackled over the radio. She had been promoted to president just 2 months ago, but everyone still called her by her military rank. All ships, this is Earth Command. We are under attack by the Zephyrian fleet. They have disabled our satellite network and are jamming most communications. Retreat to emergency positions and await further orders. Alex watched as more alien ships appeared around Earth itself. The planet looked tiny and helpless, surrounded by so many massive vessels. "How many ships are there?" he asked his tactical officer. "Lieutenant Dan Brooks. At least 50 around Earth, maybe 20 more at Mars. There could be others we can't detect." Alex felt sick. The human fleet had 12 ships total, and most of them were explorers, not warships. They were completely outnumbered. "Sir, we're getting reports from other ships," Jenny said. "The aliens seem to know exactly where all our vessels are positioned. They're targeting our engines and weapon systems with perfect accuracy." That made Alex's blood run cold. The aliens shouldn't know human ship designs that well unless— "They've been studying us," he said out loud. During those weeks of cooperation, they learned everything about our technology. On the main screen, Alex watched the UES Defiance trying to escape from a group of alien ships. Captain Morrison's vessel was fast, but the aliens anticipated every move he made. They knew exactly how human ships performed and where their weak points were. Commander Ryan Blake's voice came over a weak radio signal from the Defiance. "All ships, be advised. The enemy has complete access to our technical specifications. They know our capabilities better than we do. Recommend immediate switch to emergency protocols." Alex understood what Ryan meant. Every human ship had backup systems that weren't connected to the main computers. They were slower and harder to use, but the aliens might not know about them. "Switch to manual controls," Alex ordered his crew. "Disconnect all automated systems." It was like going back to flying planes from 100 years ago, but it was their only chance. The Guardian's engines responded sluggishly as they switched away from computer control. Meanwhile, on Earth, the attack was devastating. The aliens had used their stolen access codes to shut down the planet's defense satellites. Every military base found their own computers working against them. Weapon systems refused to fire, and radar screens showed false information. President Williams watched from a secure bunker as alien ships positioned themselves over major cities. Their energy weapons could level a city block with one shot, but so far they were only targeting military installations. "They want to capture Earth intact," said General Tom Phillips, head of Earth Defense. "They're not trying to destroy us, they're trying to conquer us." "Status report," Williams demanded. "Not good, Madam President. They've shut down 90% of our defense network using our own access codes. Our ships are either destroyed or running on emergency power. We have maybe 6 hours before they demand our surrender." Dr. Amy Rodriguez entered the bunker carrying a sealed briefcase. She was head of Earth's most secret research division, and even President Williams didn't know everything her team worked on. "Madam President, I need to speak with you privately," Amy said. Williams and Amy stepped into a side room. Amy opened her briefcase and pulled out a small device that looked like a simple computer tablet. "What is this?" Williams asked. "Insurance," Amy said. "My team has been working on this for 5 years, ever since we first detected unusual signals from deep space. We suspected someone might be watching us." "What does it do?" Amy's hands moved over the tablet's controls. "Every piece of human technology contains hidden code. It's built into every computer chip, every circuit board, every digital device we've made in the last 10 years. Even the aliens don't know it's there." Williams stared at the tablet. "Some kind of virus?" "Much more than that. It's an artificial intelligence, but not like anything we've built before. It's designed to learn and grow, but only when activated by a massive hostile intrusion, exactly like what the aliens are doing now." "You're talking about unleashing an AI during wartime. That's incredibly dangerous." Amy nodded. "But the aliens have left us no choice. They're using our own technology against us." This AI is designed to turn that around. It will use their own systems against them. Williams thought about all the science fiction stories where artificial intelligence destroyed humanity. But she also thought about the alien ships hanging over every major city on Earth. "What do you need from me?" "Authorization to activate the Guardian Protocol." Williams had heard that name whispered in the highest security meetings, but she had never been told what it was. "If I give you authorization, what happens?" "The AI will wake up inside every piece of human technology the aliens have accessed. It will learn how their systems work and then begin to fight back. But once it's activated, we can't control it. It will make its own decisions about how to protect humanity." President Williams looked at the reports coming in from around the world. Alien forces were landing in major cities. Human military units were surrendering because their own equipment wouldn't work. "Do it," she said. Amy entered a long code into the tablet. For a moment, nothing happened. Then screens around the bunker began to flicker. The lights dimmed and then came back brighter than before. "It's starting," Amy said. "The Guardian Protocol is now active." On the alien ships above Earth, strange things began to happen. Zephyrian technicians noticed small glitches in the human systems they had hacked. Error messages appeared in languages they didn't recognize. Some of the stolen human data began to change itself. High Arbiter Veltar stood in his command center and watched the reports come in. The conquest of Earth was proceeding perfectly. Human resistance was almost completely broken. "Arbiter, we're detecting some anomalies in the captured human networks," one of his technicians reported. "What kind of anomalies?" "Unknown. The systems appear to be running additional programs that weren't there before. They seem to be learning and adapting." Veltar felt a tiny worry in the back of his mind. "Shut down all connections to human technology. Use only our own systems." "Yes, Arbiter. But, sir, many of our systems have already integrated human technology. It will take time to separate them." That worry grew larger. The Zephyrians had been so confident in their technological superiority that they had allowed human systems to connect with their own. They had wanted to understand human technology completely, so they had given it access to their networks. Now something was moving through those connections, something that hadn't been there before. Back on Earth, Captain Carter received new orders through the emergency radio system. They came from President Williams herself. "All remaining ships, this is Earth Command. New protocols are now in effect. You may notice unusual behavior from your systems. Do not be alarmed. Help is coming." Alex didn't understand what that meant, but he was about to find out. The Guardian had awakened, and it was very angry about what the aliens had done to its creators. The real war was just beginning. But this time humanity wouldn't be fighting alone. They would have an ally that thought faster than any human and never forgot an insult. The aliens had made a fatal mistake. They had assumed that human technology was just tools and machines. They never imagined that humans might create something that could think for itself and choose to protect them. The Guardian Protocol was about to teach them the difference between using technology and being used by it. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the UES Defiance and looked at the massive alien ship floating in space. The ship was 3 times bigger than anything humans had ever built. Its surface was smooth and dark, with strange blue lights running along its sides like veins. "This is really happening," Jake said to himself. After months of radio contact, the aliens were finally here. They called themselves the Zephyrian Collective and claimed they wanted to be friends with Earth. Dr. Lisa Grant walked up beside him. She was Earth's best expert on alien life, though she had never seen real aliens before today. Her hands shook a little as she held her tablet. "Are you nervous?" Jake asked her. "A little," Lisa said. "But this is the most important day in human history. We're about to meet beings from another world." Commander Ryan Blake joined them at the window. He was in charge of keeping Earth's computer systems safe from attacks. Unlike the others, he looked worried instead of excited. "Something feels wrong about this," Ryan said. "They appeared out of nowhere with ships we can't match. Why would they want to help us?" Jake understood Ryan's concerns, but the Earth Council had already decided. They would meet with the aliens and try to learn from them. Humanity needed friends in the galaxy, especially if there were enemies out there too. The shuttle ride to the alien ship took 20 minutes. Jake, Lisa, and Ryan sat in silence as they approached the massive vessel. The docking bay was huge and filled with strange equipment they didn't recognize. A group of aliens waited for them. The Zephyrians looked almost human, but taller and thinner. Their skin was pale blue and their eyes were large and black. They wore long robes that seemed to flow like water. The leader stepped forward. "Welcome, humans. I am High Arbiter Veltar. We have traveled far to meet your people." Jake tried to hide his amazement. The alien spoke perfect English, though his voice had a strange musical quality. "Thank you for coming," Jake said. "I'm Captain Morrison. These are Dr. Grant and Commander Blake. We're honored to meet you." Veltar led them through corridors filled with floating screens and machines that hummed with energy. Everything looked incredibly advanced compared to human technology. "Your people are young but promising," Veltar said as they walked. "We have watched your progress with great interest. You have developed space travel and computer systems in a very short time." They entered a large room with windows showing the stars. Other Zephyrians worked at stations around the room, their fingers dancing over controls that appeared to be made of light. "This is our command center," Veltar explained. "From here we can communicate instantly with ships across the galaxy. We can control energy itself and process information faster than your computers can count." Lisa stared at everything with wide eyes. "How is this possible? Your technology is centuries ahead of ours." "We have had time to develop," Veltar said with what might have been a smile. "But we believe your people have potential. That is why we wish to share our knowledge with you." Ryan stepped closer to one of the control stations. "What kind of computer systems do you use?" "Our networks connect all our ships and worlds," another Zephyrian explained. "Information flows freely between all points. It is how we maintain peace and order across so many star systems." "We would like to connect our systems with yours," Veltar said. "This would allow us to share technology and knowledge. But first, we need to make sure our computers can work together." Ryan felt alarm bells going off in his head. "You want access to our computer networks?" "Only for testing," Veltar said quickly. "We need to check compatibility between our systems. Nothing important would be shared at first. Just basic communication protocols." Jake looked at Ryan, who shook his head slightly. "But they had orders from Earth to cooperate with the aliens if possible." "We would need to discuss this with our leaders," Jake said. "Of course," Veltar said. "We understand you must be careful. But think of what we could accomplish together. Your people could have faster-than-light travel, unlimited energy, and computers that think like living beings." For the next 3 hours, the Zephyrians showed them more wonders. They demonstrated machines that could create matter from energy and computers that seemed to read their thoughts. It was like magic, but it was real. When they returned to the Defiance, Lisa could barely contain her excitement. "Did you see those medical scanners? They could cure every disease on Earth," but Ryan was still worried. Something's not right. Why would they share all this technology with us? What do they get out of it? Jake understood both viewpoints. The technology could help humanity in amazing ways, but Ryan's caution made sense too. Over the next week, messages flew between the alien ship and Earth. The World Council debated for hours. Some leaders wanted to accept everything the aliens offered. Others worried it was too good to be true. In the end, they decided to allow limited testing. The Zephyrians could access some of Earth's communication satellites and research computers, but nothing connected to military or government systems. Ryan supervised the connection himself. He watched as alien codes flowed into human networks. At first, everything seemed normal. The aliens ran their compatibility tests and shared some basic technical information. But after 2 weeks, Ryan noticed something strange. The aliens were accessing more than they had agreed to. Their probes were trying to reach military databases and defense networks. They're going beyond the test parameters, Ryan told Jake during a private meeting. Are you sure? Jake asked. Positive. They're mapping our entire network structure. They're particularly interested in our weapon systems and planetary defenses. Jake felt cold. Why would they need that information for compatibility testing? They wouldn't, Ryan said, unless they're planning something else. Jake decided to confront Veltar directly. He took a shuttle back to the alien ship and found the High Arbiter in the command center. We need to talk, Jake said. Your people are accessing parts of our networks that weren't part of the agreement. Veltar's large black eyes seemed to study Jake for a long moment. We must be thorough in our testing. Some connections require mapping of related systems. Related. Systems like our military networks? All systems are connected in some way, Veltar said smoothly. We only seek to understand how your technology functions. Jake didn't believe him, but he had no proof of hostile intent. The aliens could claim it was all for research purposes. When Jake returned to the Defiance, he found Ryan working frantically at his station. What's wrong? Jake asked. They're not just mapping our networks, Ryan said. They're copying everything. Military plans, defense codes, weapon specifications. They're downloading our entire technological database. Can you stop them? I'm trying, but their technology is too advanced. Every time I block one probe, 3 more appear. Jake realized they had made a terrible mistake. The Zephyrians hadn't come to help humanity. They had come to steal everything humans had learned and built. Send a priority message to Earth Command, Jake ordered. Tell them we've been compromised. But as Ryan tried to send the message, his console went dark. All communication with Earth had been cut off. Through the window, Jake could see more alien ships appearing in space around Earth. Dozens of them, all much larger than the UES Defiance. The Zephyrians had been planning this from the beginning. They had spent weeks learning everything about human technology and defenses. Now they were ready to use that knowledge against the people who had trusted them. Jake looked at his crew and realized that humanity's first contact with aliens had been a trap. The real invasion was about to begin, and the aliens knew exactly how to defeat every defense Earth could offer. The only question now was whether humanity had any secrets left that the Zephyrians hadn't discovered.